Good afternoon, everybody. Keith Knapp here with my good friend, Mr. Darryl Janes from Leads Locator. Darryl, how the heck are you today, my friend?
Fantastic. Sunshine and having a great day, buddy.
Yes, it is beautiful out here in the KC Mo area, and loving the humidity this time of year. So it's wonderful. Today, for those of you guys who are joining us today, we're going to be talking to one of my favorite people about getting leads. It's just that simple. We're just going to be talking about getting leads because that's what we want to do. Help you guys get as many leads as we can. We want to help you close them, make sure that you got everything that you need to be able to grow your business, scale, do everything that you need to do. While we're live, this is going to be an open forum for chatting. So you guys are more than welcome to throw in your comments in the chat, and I'll be monitoring them and watching, and yeah, making sure that you guys are all taken care of. So. Little backstory between Darryl and I. Darryl and I have worked together for how long now? How long?
Ever since Credit Guys.
Yeah, way back in the day. Darryl and I have worked together in several different ventures and done several things together. And I will say this: there's not very many people I say this about, but Darryl is probably one of the best salespeople that I've ever ran into. If you ever need a door kicked down, you ever need to make an introduction, this is the guy who will walk into a room and he'll know everybody by the end of the night, and he'll be calling them all. He's phenomenal at it. But what was it, about a year and a half ago that you would come to me with this crazy idea of what you're doing with Leads Locator? Is that right?
Yes, yeah, I was pretty crazy. It started off as a little idea, and we've just added a ton to it since, and made it unique in the industry, and it's grown quite a bit. It's pretty excited about it. After 7 years at Home Advisor and a couple years over at BuyerLink, I brought in a partner from one of the top guns over at Angie's, and we put together second to none the top leads I've ever sold, since I've been in the industry. And I've been in telemarketing in the lead game since I was 16. I'm 63, so about 47 years of making phone calls. I think I might have called 1 million or 2 people by now.
You've been around. You have been closing deals since the invention of the internet.
Before the internet. Come on, we used to cut up the phone books in the old days. Now I'm way beyond the internet. I'm ancient.
Yeah. I wasn't going to say you were ancient. I mean, we're good there. Nothing to worry about there.
Before we had the do not call list, right?
Absolutely, right. Before you had all the regulations that were telling you who you could and couldn't talk to and how it all went. Yeah. So, Darryl, why don't you give everybody who's watching a little bit of information about Leads Locator? Why don't you tell them about who you are, what you guys do, and how all this, and just kind of give them the brief overview, and then I'm going to get into grilling you on some of the questions here to give you space to talk with everybody.
Absolutely. When we first heard about it, it's called a pixel, aka cookie. It was being used for emails, and when I seen this, I'm like, well, that's a great idea. Why are you guys not using this to reach out and actually call people that just left your website? And that's what everybody was doing with the service. So website identity leads, we put a pixel cookie on your website. We identify who's calling. Right now, you're lucky to get 1 or 2 leads for every 100 that visits your website. By putting on the pixel, we're going to deliver 10 to 50 brand new, exclusive, fresh leads that just left your website without taking action. And not only are we going to provide you that data, if you're in a smaller market, you only need the data based on your coverage area. We'll make sure you're only getting your coverage area. If you have people that are already your customers that visit your site every day, we'll suppress all that data for you. And then the last and final unique thing I think that we do is we're going to run it through the TCPA and DNC nationwide. So when we send the data back to you, you're going to get 2 files. You're going to get your callable file for your call center or your sales reps. And then you're going to get an email file that you can shoot out emails. A lot of people are plugging them into the Facebook remarketing because they'll match them right up. And the same thing with Google. And you reach out to them and create new sales via email or phone calls. And very simply, in a nutshell, that's what we do is we're taking that data that is being wasted every single day. They just left your digital store. They didn't fill out your form. You don't know who they are. And you're reaching out with offers and sales presentations and closing deals.
Well, that you just summed it all up for us right there, right? That's the whole bit. That's all of it. You're done. You're done. Yeah.
You're done. That's the bit. That's what we do.
So Darryl, why don't you do this? Sometimes my brain runs at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yes.
So why don't we scale this back a little bit?
Okay.
And let's kind of dive into what you're talking about. So like I love this idea. I actually, you and I had talked right after I did a live stream about this same topic last week, and I told everybody I was going to get you on. So that's kind of what prompted this. So but explain when you say pixel. And like break it down. Like, what does this look like to somebody who maybe that's their first time owning a website? They're just now starting to get their feet wet into digital marketing. Give me the Keith is simple, stupid version, the KISS version.
Well, the simple version is right now the national average of people that fill out your form fill is about 3%. And you're missing all your customers every day. You're spending money on clicks and advertising to drive them to that website, and you're still only getting 3%. Half of those are bots, so you're still lucky to get 1 or 2 clients. By installing our pixel on your website, we're going to identify 10, 20, up to 50. We've got some clients as high as 60. And not only can we tell you their name, their phone number, and 35 different aspects of information, we can also tell you what page they're on. So if you're selling windows or siding or roofing and you have 3 products, we'll say this guy was on your roofing page. He's on your siding page. And we can take that data and send it right to your CRM immediately. It's all about speed to lead. If we're in the game, you got to call them quick. You just pick up the phone, reach out. Thank you. We see you visit our website. We like to provide excellent customer service. Just wanted to see if you had any questions about the windows, the siding, or whatever product you're using. We work with everybody. Banks are using it. Car companies are using it. Residential or commercial, it works. You're just missing that money every single day. Let's capture it.
Awesome. I love the concept. And you know me, I'm going to absolutely love the fact that you're going to throw it in the CRM for us because
absolutely.
Now, one of the things that I'm catching from this, and I like to clarify this just so everybody knows what to expect. This is going to be something that's going to be helpful for people who are already getting traffic to their website, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so this isn't a cold campaign. This isn't something that's gonna help somebody who they come and they're like, hey, I need a new website. It's their first time launching their website. Nobody's going to it. This isn't something. So tell me who this really is going to help. And where does this pixel service actually really have the best impact for business owners?
Well, when we started, we worked in the home services industry. And as we started growing, it's anybody with a website. If you're selling products and services, wouldn't it be nice to get all the people that started to fill out your buy now form and they leave your shopping cart and wow, you don't have that data. Let's put this pixel on there and capture that data. Increase your sales, immediately call them, send out an offer, capture that data. Right now, you're spending, all the big companies, tens of thousands of dollars. If you don't know how to get traffic, follow Keith. He'll help you get the traffic. He'll get it there. But once you guys have that traffic, let's be efficient about it. Let's capture that data. Let's get that information over to your sales team. Let's take those emails, kick them out immediately, and make more money. You're spending tons of money to get there, and it'll work on, a bank. Think about it. This guy's interested in retirement. This guy was looking at your financial page. This guy was looking at your mortgages. This guy's looking at your auto loans. Insurance companies. This guy was on what page of your insurance company. We'll tell you what page, send that data right over to you, and you know what you have. If you're selling strictly residential and he's a commercial client, you don't want that data. And just vice versa. So we can make sure the data you're getting is exactly what you need.
Okay, so let's talk about that data because I've seen your spreadsheets, and you let me peek behind the curtain a couple times, and it blew my mind. I was impressed. So you boasted a pretty decent number of 35, which kind of shocked me because every other time I've talked to you, it's been quite a bit higher. So how many points of data do you really have on your leads that you're generating?
We created a standard payload because we can provide up to 1,700 different filters for data.
Hold on. 1,700 data points.
Correct.
Is that what you just said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry, I wanted to make sure that was right, because every time I talk to you, that number just keeps going up higher and higher every time.
Yes.
So you've got 1,700 data points. Now, how are you collecting that data? Like, where does this list come from? Because to me, it just kind of sounds like magic. Like you're basically out there, somebody, like I'm running Facebook ads, and all of a sudden, people who aren't filling out my form, I'm collecting their information. I mean, do you have like a little elf in the back waving a magic wand, or like, how does this work? How do you get 1,700 data points on somebody who doesn't fill out a form with you?
Well, anybody can sell you data, and I've already went through the pain points of buying it. Hearing the promises and being a data provider, we bought bad data. You hear the presentations, we've got the best data, and no matter what data you buy, there's going to be, 10, 15, 20% of that data is going to be inaccurate. Data is updated every day. And even when you buy the best list that were just scrubbed today, you're still going to get bad data. It's part of the business. And if you understand that, it's just a matter of replacing the data, that type of thing, and making sure you have quality data. Our data company is phenomenal. They have every single parcel in the United States. They work with the credit bureaus. We're going to tell you if they have credit cards as part of the data. We're going to provide income. We can provide home values. They work with the telcos as well to make sure that the numbers are matching. We used to have 12 different ways to verify and uniquely collect data, and now that number shot up well over 50 different ways we're identifying data as we collect it. They use device IDs, they use phone numbers. That's the magic in the sauce, realistically, is the different ways you identify the clients, the customers that visit your website. And then you want to funnel it down. If you're selling strictly to homeowners, we take out all the businesses. If you're selling strictly to businesses, let's take out all the homeowners. If you sell to both, we can provide you both. You don't want to waste a bunch of time. The key is knowing what your clients are, and that's what you want to talk to. So let's just sell you the data you want. Let's suppress it. Let's create the files you want and get your quality data. You don't want to waste your time. You don't want to waste your salesman's time. So tell us what data you want to call, and let's make sure that's what you get.
Love it. Yeah. And so while you're sitting here talking, my brain's just going, I'm just sitting here thinking about all the different ways that this can be incorporated. And I think there's a ton of potential. And I've seen the potential. I've seen what you've done with some very large companies and some impressive client lists. But one of the things that I love about this is that you're able to really, really maximize your marketing dollars. Where, like, if you are getting a 50, like even if you're getting a 50% opt-in on your lead magnets and ad campaigns, like being able to see and compare the data of what they're filling out on the form opposed to what's coming in from the pixel. Like, how many times have we all filled out a form with a bad email address and phone number? Harassed. We just wanted the information. Like, this is going to help cure that issue, where now you're going to be able to look at it and go, yep, the information's accurate, or nope, here's their real contact record. I think that's great. And then the other side is, like, if you're collecting leads from it, if you're collecting leads of people that don't opt in, I mean, that's just a win-win. And with it being automated inside of the CRM, I mean, you can trigger all sorts of campaigns and basically anything you want to do from that point. So I think that's incredible. So what's been your favorite case study that you've ran into? Like, what's been the coolest thing that you've seen somebody do with this?
It's first party data. They're using AI. Everybody's doing the AI right now. The smartest and brightest thing to do is very simply pick up the phone and say hello. I mean, that's the good old fashioned. If you want to text them first, everybody has a different cadence or format how they want to reach out. But the callable leads, call them. I don't care if you call them or text them first or call them first or whatever your cadence or profile is for your, the way you do it, call them. And those emails, I mean, obviously you want to email them, but don't just stop there. Plug them into the Facebook, plug them into Google, match them up exactly, and you're going to get a higher return rate than just a standard email as well.
Yeah. And for those of you guys who are not quite sure what he's talking about with the Facebook and Google, that's actually going to be your custom audiences where you're going to be able to essentially set up retargeting campaigns because you've already got their data. You're submitting it to Facebook and Google, so it's going to retarget them instantly, meaning that it's just a great way to do it. Looks like we have an incoming question from my good friend Brant here. Are the numbers identified by land/office line versus mobile? That's a great question, Brant.
Good question. Yes. And a lot of services only will provide you the email data. The nice thing about getting those phone numbers is we will provide you sometimes 2 to 3 phone numbers. So that way you'll have a residential or a landline and it'll identify what it is.
Awesome.
Because you want to know what you're calling, especially if you want to send out text.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful. Beautiful.
Good question.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of the other things that you could be looking at, and let's you brought up AI, so we're going to go down that.
Sure.
We're going to go down that. So you and I have had some interesting conversations about the evolution of AI, watching like the AI call bots and watching how all of it's working together. What would happen if you set up an AI call bot to reach out to these people, all the visitors from your website after they visit?
Well, if you want to protect yourself, make sure you're compliant. Number one, it's first party data. And if you want to prove compliance, a lot of guys are downloading the free Jornaya app, the free Trusted Form app. It provides you a token free for 90 days. You can show that it's first party data. So once you have first party data, you're allowed to text and email that first party data. You own it. It's first party. And that's what everybody's talking about being compliant moving forward. Coming up here in January is the first party data.
Okay. So hold on. So basically what you're saying is that when you're getting the information, these people are already opted in.
If you read your privacy policy, in order for me to sell you data, that's the first thing we do. We're going to read your privacy policy, unless it was written back in the 80s, which there's still some sites out there like that. All the current sites say we use cookies. We collect your data to reach out and sell you our product. Pretty standard. As long as you have that in there and you're disclosing that you're collecting and remarketing, we'll sell you the data. Because the key to this, everybody wants to be compliant. That's why we scrub at the TCPA and the DNC, all the big call centers. If you're not compliant, they're not doing business. So you want to keep it clean. You want to keep it straight, and you don't have to look over your shoulder and worry about doing anything wrong.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes. And if you want to protect yourself for your visitors, Jornaya or Trusted Form, both great services. They provide you tokens for every single visitor to your website, and you can download that for 90 days. If you want to pay for their pay service, it's $10 and they'll store the data for you. But most guys use the free service and just pull the tokens over into a spreadsheet or however you like to save that data.
You're speaking geek to me. Like you went above my head, and I do a lot of work.
Well, it's just all the big call centers out there. I didn't know what kind of clients you have. It's compliance software that proves via a token that you visited their website, and they're the 2 biggest guys in the industry for websites for token proof for visitors. Okay,
so the TLDR, too long didn't read version is that it's compliant. You can call them.
Bottom line, you got it.
Man, you went around that tree multiple times there.
Oh, hey, when you talk to lawyers, buddy, I tell you what, and these compliance people, you learn the lingo a little bit, and it gets very geeky.
It does. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna shift gears on you here a little bit.
Sure,
so you've got this list, and you've got all this data. Yeah. What can you do? What if somebody's interested in just like cold emails and they want to start working on just buying lists and getting out there and starting to pursue different avenues with marketing to buying lists and marketing to a list? Can you help with that?
Absolutely. With 1,700 filters that we have with our regular data, we have the same filters with our commercial and residential data. So that way you're working smart and not hard, and zero in that audience. So you're hitting the bullseye every time instead of wasting your guys' times. Yes.
And how and that's going to bring me back to so how often is that list being updated?
Well, there's daily updates and monthly updates. It depends on what file and what company that we are conglomerating all the data from: the credit bureaus, the credit card agencies, the phone companies. With 1,700 data points from A to Z, we're collecting from multiple data points and constantly growing it. And the nice thing with us is you're not going to pay for bad data. We're not going to argue about bad data. We want you to report the bad data back to us. I sell you 100 records or 10,000 records and 1,000 of them are wrong. 2 reasons. I want to replace the data for you. And most of all, I want it back in my database so we can pull it out, not sell it to anybody else, and update it to find the newest accurate records. So we're creating a huge process with all our clients to constantly update and freshen our data for you guys. But it varies by supplier. Everybody's at least once a month, and some people are weekly, and some of them are daily, depending on the sources.
Okay, awesome, great information. So with this, you and I have talked about lists. So, like I said at the beginning, you are probably one of the best business development headhunters that I've ever met. It just you can't go anywhere with you and not be like, oh, that's my buddy. And you know everyone everywhere. You are like a walking human Rolodex. So let me ask you this. Like I've met some of the people that you know, and you've got several people that have the B's behind their name. They're in the Billionaires Club.
Yes, sir.
Tell me how did you do it? How do you do it? Like if I said, Darryl, I need you need to go out and generate $10,000 today. Here's a list. Yeah. What is your secret sauce to actually cracking these accounts open and getting in front of people and like actually getting a chance to pitch and sell someone?
Never sell a product you wouldn't buy yourself. Bottom line. Sales is a transference of feeling, and if you don't feel it and you're not going to buy it, don't sell it, because that comes across on the phone. They don't got to see you to feel that. You hear it in their voice, and just keep it clean. And if you're not passionate about what you're doing and can't convey that passion and belief, they're not buying. I mean, sales is really simple. They got to like you, number one, no matter what. And once they like you, it's time to, you better know what you're talking about in that vertical, whatever you're selling. It doesn't matter, and no matter how much they like you and no matter how well you know your product, if they don't trust you, bottom line, you somewhere in that presentation, that liking you and knowing your business, you got to build that trust, because they're not going to buy from you. Period. They have to trust you. This is their money. This is their time. This is their investment. And if you figure out the other 10%, let's get together and write a book and we'll all be rich. Just to keep it simple.
So let me, for all you guys watching, let me tell you why Darryl and I have clicked so well for so long. I'm the introverted geek that when people talk to, I can build trust very, very quickly. And I do a lot, like everything that I do is I'm really big on building trust. That's why I do live streams. That's why I help people with lead magnets and showing their expertise, making you the expert. And Darryl is the guy who knows how to get you in front of them and knows how to talk to them. So like that, when you for those of you guys who are newer at this, when you're watching and talking with somebody, it's good to understand, like for me, I'm very much like let's build the automation, let's build the trust, let's create systems that once the leads come in, now we're going to start proving you're the expert. We're going to get them to know, like, love, trust you, and take off from there. Where Darryl's the one, he's going to kick in the door, he's going to get the people on the phone, he's going to start building that relationship and building the long term of it. So Darryl, let me ask you this: what would be your top 3 tips if somebody bought a list of leads from you, and let's say they just start with the basic email campaign to start driving traffic, just and get people going, and they want to start calling through this list. What would be your top 3 tips to be able to start turning those leads into actual clients?
Well, obviously, in the phone call, it's about keeping it brief and get their attention right out of the gate. I mean, it's just that simple, and it's about speed to lead. Leads get cold. You don't reach out. You're wasting your time and your money. Hit them while they're hot. Keep it, really simple. Be brief, be to the point, ask for the business. Don't be run on here. Most good presentations over the phone are 30 seconds or less. If your presentation is about longer than 30 seconds, book an appointment, ask for an appointment. Don't try and close it right then, because you're going to blow it. I mean, if you need longer than 30 seconds, my presentations, it's usually about booking an appointment to get the time to earn the business, because my presentation is not 30 seconds, but my initial introduction is about, you're interrupting their day. You're calling them. You got to be polite and friendly and nice and get to the point. Don't waste my time. And they're going to tell you if they're interested or not. And we all know the first no is where the sales process begins. And if you're not ready for it and you're not expecting, no, I'm not interested, get out of the game, because that's where it all begins. And you'll craft your presentation as you're going to get less and less of those, but it's, be ready for the rebuttals. And if you're not ready, and grow that rebuttal list. I mean, the more rebuttals they throw at you, if you don't have an answer, bring it to Keith. Let's figure out a way to overcome that objection. There's always a way around the barn. You just got to get creative sometimes. And if you don't have the quick answer, look out for some help. There's a way to close it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So let me ask you this, Darryl. In your 30 plus years of sales,
Yeah.
no, it's more than 30 now. How many?
47.
47.
All right. That's just counting since I was 16. I actually sold burpee seeds and cards door to door when I was 8. So, okay, it's 53.
You've been selling longer than my parents have been.
Well, I bought seeds for a nickel and sold them for a quarter door to door.
Yeah, smart. Smart. So in your vast experience of sales, how many people have told you no, have told you they're not interested, that you've turned around? I know you're not going to have an exact number on this, but how often do you think that you run into somebody who goes, no, not interested, that end up turning around, that you're able to convince once you're able to talk to them and work with them through that?
Well, in the old days, we couldn't target anything. We'd go down the phone book. It was not targeting nothing. And, numbers speak for themselves. Numbers don't lie. People do. And the numbers are the truth. And it's like 1 out of 100 sometimes cold calling. Once you get a little bit better targeted list, maybe it's 5 out of 100. Once you got your script, your rebuttals, and everything's down, maybe it's 10 out of 100. Or you get really smart about your list and your targeting. I've seen guys close 20%, 50%. The number goes up with your presentation and knowing your market. I mean, it's all over the board. And track your numbers. I mean, if you're not tracking your numbers, you're in the wrong business. This is a business. Know your numbers, just like Shark Tank. I mean, you got to know your numbers. And if you just track them and figure out how to improve them as you go, they're gonna keep going up.
Love
Polish
it.
the stone constantly, every day, every script, every presentation. I'll learn something new all the time, and I learn something new every day. And that's where we all get that growth and that understanding. And you add it to your presentation, you add it, you take it out. It's like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. And you're constantly growing. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one thing that I've seen that actually I learned a lot of this from you, is that when you work leads from a scarcity mentality, you tend to run them off. Like if you try to baby them and nurture them, opposed to playing the numbers game, opposed to playing Moneyball with your leads, of going, okay, if I've got 10 leads, I should be able to get one of them on the phone and get them closed if you know how to sell. And I think that that's the one thing that I've seen. Every successful business that I've seen, they know how to close deals. Period.
Sure.
To me, that is like the key. Like, you could have a pixel, you could be driving 1 million people a day to your website. You could have all this stuff, but if you don't know how to close a deal, it doesn't do you any good. If you don't know how to sell, if you don't know how to build trust with people, you're not you're not going to do anything. It's just you're wasting your time if you're not taking the time to learn. And one of and what you just said, I think, is one of the major keys to this is you're constantly learning something new every day. It's not sitting back and going, I've got it all. I'm established. I'm the king of sales. Like learning it because things are changing. I mean, my God. Yeah, in the last year, I mean, we've had the explosion of AI happen where now we're starting to get into an AI bubble that we're starting to say, like, our verbiage has to change. The way that you're approaching people has to change. You've got to confirm that you're human with people. Right now, they go like, "Hi, I'm Keith. I'm a human. Let's talk." You get people on. But one of the things that I've seen from you that I love is your little Darrylisms. Like you're really good at coming up with those like really short, quippy sayings. Like sales is a transfer of emotions. Like I've never heard that before, but it's such a good thing. And I think that's another key is like finding those little hooks that kind of catch people as you're going through that process and you're pitching them and you're selling them.
I think one of the best tricks talking about things that help you is as salespeople, we like to talk a lot. And if we learn to ask closing questions and be understanding what their needs are and, learning to be better listeners than the presentation, close, there's no personality, there's no friendship, there's no love in there. The more you put you in the game and become a better listener instead of a talker, your sales will really start popping. I mean, because you'll be connecting on a more personal level than the standard, it's a hello, bore me to death. You know what's really fun? You're a salesman when you close the wrong number. When I was working for Keith, one of the best ladies I met, we're doing credit repair. She owned 100 banks that she had a software company in. I called her up, cold as can be. Oh, you got the wrong number. Next thing you know, we got credit repair in 100 banks because, hey, never be afraid of it. Talk to people.
Right.
You never know where you can connect the dots.
Absolutely.
And if you learn to listen to people and understand and talk to people, you can be surprised you can connect dots.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we have a question here from Hagen, and it looks like he was asking about when we were talking about the pixel. He says you were saying if someone clicks accept on our cookie notice, they have consented to having us call them. Am I understanding that correctly?
They don't have to press accept. There are the people that want that pop up there because they want to make sure they see that privacy policy. As long as you have that privacy policy on your website, you're okay. If you want to be extra protective, you can put a pop up in there. It's your choice. But yes, you do have to tell them you're collecting their data. And whether you choose to use a pop up or just leave it in your privacy policy is the website owner's choice. Either way works. Just be compliant. Bottom line.
Yeah, and I think the best way that I heard you explain it is that the TCPA looks at it like basically like somebody's walking into your store and like a physical store. Like
it's your store, yes. Yeah, that's your digital store. Some people don't. A lot of people don't have brick and mortar. That is your store.
I'm working at home in my house. Like, I'm wearing sweatpants under the nice top here. Like it's you're probably wearing
like a car lot. If you're a sales manager, aren't you going to be mad if somebody comes on the lot and nobody talks to them? I mean, absolutely. That's the same concept here with your website. You've got people coming into your website and nobody's talking to them. You don't have the name and number to even do that. But now you do. Now you can call them. Now you can email them. Now you can talk to them. They just left your store. You want to sell your product. You want to sell your service. You want to sell your coaching. Whatever you're selling, reach out and sell it. Make some new friends. Have some fun.
Yep, absolutely. Man, the Woodford brothers are on it today. Look, they got another question for you. You talk more about filtering leads to a specific market.
Yes.
We want a local campaign to drive people in our community to a specific landing page. We want to work harder on local people.
Yes. Excellent. Yes, you can't make money with all your out-of-market business. So if we can say, here's your coverage area, a lot of people these days will have multiple landing pages. And put this pixel on your landing pages. Call those people back. Absolutely.
That's all you got. What about targeting down? What about
you can target it down to your zip codes. You can buy lists by SIC codes. I mean, when I've got 1,700 choices, I mean, everything from income, homeowners, ethnicity, if you like to read magazines, if you're into sports, how many children are in the home. The information we have has to be relative to your industry, or we don't like to sell it to you. GDPR isn't one of these fancy terms that's coming out that maybe list people don't know about, but it's a compliance program that's in Europe. It's probably coming to America like some of the TCPA stuff. And it's just about, just because I have all that data, it's not ethical for me to sell all that data to you because it's not relevant to your industry. So being a good data owner and being compliant and understanding what's coming in the future, we're already adapting those things. So we're providing the relevant data for your industry, and we can drill it down to amazing things. If you want presidents or vice presidents or marketing directors, if on the residential side, you want people that have this amount of income and this many kids in that area, or whatever your choices are, we've narrowed it down to the most common payloads for daily delivery. If you want to design your own custom payload, we can design a custom payload for any vertical, residential, commercial, and any website. Yeah. You can choose whatever data that's relevant to you and go after it. It'll help you zero in for that bullseye every time. Quit wasting your time searching in the weeds. You want to get out right there in that short grass.
Absolutely. So Brent is asking a follow-up question here. So buying leads is one thing, the pixel is another. Two tactics?
Two different products. I mean, it's both data. Yes. If you got a website and you're not using a pixel, hey, you're missing your business. You spend tons of money, and that is the focus. I'll sell data all day long. We own the database and buy away. And, we are a provider for one of the largest dialer companies in the United States, and their call centers buy tons of data through us, and they're targeting very specific data and improving the results. And once they, running their tests and keep zeroing in, the numbers just keep climbing.
Right. Yeah. And I think the big difference, like I always teach, there's a difference between traffic and conversion. So like buying the list, that's your traffic. Like that's where you can be emailing people out, driving them to your site. The pixel is all about conversion, because now you see what pages they visited. You've got the information on them. You can figure out who they are, and you can target campaigns. And one of the things Darryl said that I've been preaching to you guys thousands of times, these companies have tons and tons of different landing pages for all the different things that they do. That's why we build the snap-ons for you. So you can just go in there and load these landing pages and have all your infrastructure set up. So that way, if you're targeting, like, let's say you go to Darryl and you're like, hey, Darryl, I want to target business owners who are making, the companies are making between 250,000 and 5 million. And, you come up with your demographics of exactly what you're looking for. Then you can have a targeted landing page that speaks directly to that person, and automations that make them feel like it's a cohesive conversation. It's not disjointed where you're like, ooh, buy my shiny thing, and then they get over here and you're selling them something completely different that's off topic. So I think that's a great point with that as well, is knowing your audience and knowing who you're targeting, and then setting up all your assets to be able to play with the campaigns and with the leads that you're targeting. That's the winning combination right there, is working through all of it together at the same time, not just getting out there and just kind of wild westing it and trying to shove everybody inside the same funnel. There's multiple funnels, have multiple uses, and that's why Darryl and I get along. He's like, I got all the data, and I'm like, I got all the funnels. Let's work.
I think the biggest tip too is I don't care how we communicate with clients. I mean, all the big call centers that are working, hot leads, form fill leads, appointments, whatever they're buying from all their services, they call them, they text them, and they email them. What order you want to put that in is up to you, and they all have their different ways they want to do it. But I don't care how they reach back out to me. If it's a phone call, if it's a text, or if it's an email that begins that conversation. And if you're not using all three, they call it the triple threat. Get in the game, because a lot of people will respond to text today that won't answer that phone.
Yep.
Absolutely. And, I don't care how they want to communicate. I just want the opportunity to get in front of them and close my product and service, whatever it may be. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is over calling. There's people who call somebody 10 times a day. I'm not going to ever answer your phone. That's borderline rude and harassment. Come on, guys. Let's be gentlemen and ladies. Let's not treat people like they want to be treated. Most of the big call centers, one time in the morning, one time in the afternoon, one time in the evening, and they will usually send a text, call, an email. They'll typically do that. Big guys do it for 3 days. Some people do it 5. They'll work the lead the second week, maybe only twice a day. And then after that, they'll kick the cadence back. And when do you give up? Never. Until they say no, it's still a lead. It's still an opportunity. Work it. You'll be surprised. Some of the biggest deals I've ever closed, my boss came to me at one of my companies and he said, Darryl, this guy's been in your pipeline for 1.5 years. I'm going to take that lead back. I'm like, don't you dare. I've been working this guy and he's going to close. And one of the biggest sales I ever closed, I worked the guy for 2 years. And when I closed it, I set a record over at Home Advisor. It was a nurture. I mean, there's a time to close. And if you don't keep following up with that stuff, you never know when it's going to close. And where your time's well spent. I mean, you know what a soft no is, or I'm interested in. You decide that for yourself. But some of the biggest sales, it's not about closing today. It's about patience. You know what a whale is. And some whales either close really quick or they take time. Because, it's either I get it, let's go, or you got to nurture them.
Yep.
And fishing for whales is just like the little fish. You treat them all the same. They all come in the boat the same. And, you provide the same service.
Yeah. Something that you like, what you just mapped out from a call sequence and a sales sequence that's incredibly valuable. So can you cover that again? Because I think that cadence is something I've never really talked about with people, but like as many touches as it's taking for these call centers. I mean, these are professional salespeople. This is how
thousands of seats in the call center. Thousands of seats. Yes.
Yeah. And so you're working with these call centers. So just go over again what that cadence, what that sales follow-up process looks like for them. So you're saying the first day they're calling them 3 times that first day.
Typically, yes. Morning, afternoon, and evening is the normal cadence.
Now, let me ask you this. Why would you call somebody 3 times?
They didn't answer the phone.
That's the best answer ever.
Hello. Hey, Bob. I'm a call man. I'm a telemarketer, baby. I want to talk to you, right? Same reason I would text them 3 times. Same thing. I mean, I don't want to text them 3 times in the morning. That's too much.
Right.
Or in the evening. Now, if I get the lead in the afternoon, he's going to get a 2-touch today, and tomorrow he'll get the 3-touch. If I get the lead in the evening, now we all know when's the best time to make phone calls and close deals. 6 to 9 in the evening.
See, I didn't know that.
Your contact rate will double and triple from 6 to 9 p.m. Don't call after 9, you get in trouble. But from 6 to 9, why not 5? Well, it's okay. Most people are still driving home, getting home, eating some dinner, hi kids, hugging the kids, whatever, getting off work, popping their beers, whatever. I mean, but the highest time nationwide after making millions of calls is 6 to 9. And the cadence really important is they hit them 3 times, 3 days. After that, I've heard them go 3 times up to 5 days. Depends on your comfort level. And then the second week, it's a 2-touch. And then after that, it's usually a 1-touch a day for at least the next 2 weeks. And then they slow it down to the weekly touch after 30 days. But that first 30 days is where you're going to capture the majority of your business. But don't give up there unless they tell you no. They want to opt out. As long as they're accepting that stuff, just keep the burners going, keep that ember going, and you never know when they're just going to pick up the phone and drop right in and buy, schedule your appointment, or whatever product or service you're trying to do, whether it's close the deal or schedule an appointment, so to speak.
So what you're saying is that it works if you work it.
Yeah. I mean, it's about building big pipelines. And the more data you own, the more you keep working it, even though it might be bottom of funnel, if it still floats back to the top and becomes a deal, I'm going to take them wherever they come from. I don't care if it's a call or a text or an email. I bought that data. I nurtured that data. And until that data says no, that client says no, I'm going to keep politely, professionally, keeping my name in the mix because he has expressed an interest. He visited my website. He filled out a form fill. he is in market, and I want to be the guy that doesn't forget about that. And I want to be the guy that closes him until he tells me, no, I'm working my leads. Politely, professionally, and persistent.
See, I love you, Darryl, because this is what I've been wanting to tell people for a long time. I just wanted the professional sales guy who knows what he's doing to get on here and say it for me. But
and don't burn them up by calling them 100 times in a day. Goodness sake, man. Treat consumers like you'd want your phone calls, like you'd want them, and then you got your good stuff going.
Yeah, yeah. Now, and Darryl, like I said, you are the perpetual salesperson. The other side where I'm going to come in is I'm going to look at all those people, and I'm going to go, okay, while my sales team is calling them, I want to be sending them newsletters. I want to be sending them emails that show that we are who we say we are, that we're the experts. I want to be doing live videos like this. I want to be showing them what we're doing on social media. I want to give them a chance to feel like they're able to touch me, that they're able to come out and go, oh, there's Keith. Okay, I'm not talking to Keith. I may be talking to Brent, but that's close enough. Good, cool. Like the more that you can be in front of them, like I'm a big proponent that now, like social media and live videos, things like that, they're not quite a phone call touch, but it keeps you top of mind, so that way when they get that call, they're a lot less reluctant to pick it up that next time, because they're like, oh man, I just saw Keith and Darryl talking. Yeah, I want to talk to him. I got some questions. So that's the combination of sales and marketing, is that if you've got a good sales plan, if you've got a good cadence, if you're on the phone, you're being consistent, you're being polite, having fun with clients, treating them the way that you want to be treated, and building trust, building confidence, showing them that you're the expert on top of that, that's the formula. That's the secret sauce right there. Of, is there anything else that you could think of that you would need to close deals and make money, Darryl?
Be happy, man. They know when you're happy. Come on, let's have some little fun out here, guys. Don't be that boring dweeb that calls me. Come on, man. Talk to them. Have a little fun. Ask them what they're doing. How's their day? What part of the country? I mean, come on, lighten up.
If you can't smile, if you're asking for thousands of dollars from somebody, they're not going to give you thousands of dollars. It's just how it's going to go.
There's a time to be serious, but you know what? In the beginning, when you're making friends, let's be polite. Let's be fun. Let's be the guy they want to have a beer with, or go out to dinner, or play some golf with.
Yep. Love it. Love it. Okay. So Darryl, a lot of people have been interacting. How do they get a hold of you? How do they talk to you? How do they find out more about Leads Locator and all the cool stuff that you guys got going on over there?
Absolutely. Website, leadslocator.com. Pick up the phone and call me. I'll pass out my cell right now. I'm easy to get a hold of. It's 816-517-3534. I've got my 800 number on the website. You can email me.
800 number out there. I don't want you getting called by all the bots, man. We're live on YouTube. But
I answer my phone, buddy. I learn from all these salespeople that call me every day. I steal a little line here and I steal a little line there. They said it better than I did. I'm copying that.
So leadslocator.com is where they can reach.
That's the best place. You bet. Book an appointment or pick up the phone, call the 800 number. We're glad to reach out and help you guys out.
Now, a lot of our clients are newer companies, people that are just kind of getting up and going. They're just getting their feet wet. Like a lot of our clients were running ads for them the first time. They're just now getting to that place that they're calling their clients and working through this.
Yeah.
What would you say would be kind of the minimum threshold for somebody to come in and get the pixel with you?
Well, it really depends on what your profit is in your product. I mean, if you're talking, you've got 100 visitors a month or 1 million, we work with both clients every day. It's about where does your cost of marketing line up? Because we all have to have a cost of marketing that works in our budget, or we're not going to keep spending money on whatever budget it is. Right. It's about ROI at the end of the day. So typically, even at 100 visitors a month, you're making money on the.
And if you're not, guys, if you're not getting 100 visitors a month, you're not doing anything.
You're not watching Keith enough.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like you should be. You can trip over 100 people a month.
Easy.
Like that shouldn't ever be an issue.
The data is always there. I mean, the data is the easiest point of entry. The pixel is an easy point of entry as well. They're both extremely under budget, underpriced, and very affordable. This will be one of your most affordable cost of marketings that you're going to put out there. Cheaper than Facebook, cheaper than Google, cheaper than anything you're doing. Telemarketing is a great way to do it. Reaching out and calling your sales reps, bottom line, you're not going to get a better lead than somebody that just left your website. When you want a cold call, let's narrow down those funnels so you're making quality cold calls. And we can provide you all that data once you know who your customer is, exactly in your market, in your geography, in your zip codes. We can provide you all that data.
Awesome.
And then you can start with just the good old-fashioned cold call. Reach out and make some friends.
And I'm going to make a special deal for any of you guys who are watching. If you end up getting set up with Darryl at Leads Locator, I will create a snap-on that will automate when these leads come in for you. So that way we can automate your marketing. We can have specific funnels and campaigns that will go out for them if you get signed up with Darryl. And Darryl and I are friends. Darryl and I go out and have beers together. Where like he will tell me if you got signed up. Trust me.
Yes.
So like for you guys who are thinking about this, if that's something you want to do, I'll tell you, one of the things that I see where most business owners fail in marketing is they see a service like Leads Locator and they get it, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. It identifies the leads. If you don't have anything under there to convert them and to start engaging them, it's not going to do anything. So, understand that, getting Leads Locator, like hands down, smart, beautiful idea, brilliant. Why wouldn't you? I use it. I love it. But if you're not doing anything with it, if you're not going to be driving campaigns, if you're not going to be engaging with your list, it's not going to do you any good. You can buy all the tools in the world, but if you don't work them, it doesn't work. And that's the name of the game. Is like, let's get you in, let's start driving traffic, let's start identifying your leads, let's get you lists. If you don't have anybody, let's get a list with Darryl. Let's get you started. Let's get you a call list that you can go out and hire a setter. You can get an AI call bot. You can start working on getting people engaged and starting to pitch your services, setting up appointments, doing those 30-second pitches. Because I mean, think about it. If you have a list of 1,000 people and you're having a minute conversation tops, 2 minutes tops with ring time, that's nothing. Like that, the power dialer inside your profit lifter system will handle that for you. Where now all you have to do is sit there and smile and dial, or you hire a VA who smiles and dials, and you get them good at it. You train them, you show them, or you get real techie and you tie in an AI call bot. You let it do it, and you let it do its thing. And there's so many different ways to skin this cat, but it takes the system. It's not just the one piece. You have to have all the pieces. You have to have the traffic, you have to have the conversion, you have to have the engagement, you have to have people talking to them. I cannot express that enough. I think in modern marketing, we have gotten so lazy and spoiled because we see all the dude bro marketers out there like, oh, I'm going to close all these deals online without ever talking to a single person. Yeah, I mean, I could too if I was selling fidget spinners for $5. Like, that's nothing. You get these people who are selling camping gear and like retail sales, and they're acting like they're doing something phenomenal with their business. High ticket sales, and if you're selling anything over $500, you need to be on the phone talking to them all the time. You need to be reaching out, or you're not going to close sales. It's just how it goes. That's the most successful companies they've got a great cadence, like what Darryl said. They got great marketing, like what I said, and they marry the two together. They work cohesively, and everything rock and rolls. Darryl, any final thoughts of wisdom that you would like to leave with everybody today?
Thank you for adding that snap on, Keith. That's awesome. Appreciate it, buddy. Yes, and I do, and of course I use Profit Lifter as well.
I made him.
Got to endorse my brother as he gives me the love. I got to give it back. Let's talk. If there's any questions, anything I can do to help anybody, let's pick up the phone. If you need a little help on a rebuttal, you can't figure a way around the barn, let's get creative. Let's work together. Let's make some money. If there's anything I can do to help you guys, let me know. If you want to see my 1,700 data choices and drill them down to what fits you, pick up the phone, send me an email. We'll send you over the choices, and data we can have out to you within 24, 48 hours. The service to set up usually runs anywhere from 1 to 5 days, depending on how fast you guys communicate. And it's real easy to get set up, and appreciate the opportunity and appreciate your time, Keith. Thank you very much.
Man, I love having you on. You know, I always love talking to you. I'm so glad we've been talking about this for months and months now. I'm glad we finally had a chance to sit down and actually do this.
Yeah.
Appreciate all you guys who've been hanging out with us today. Hopefully you got some good information. Man, I got a lot of good nuggets, and I mean I feel like I know what I'm talking about. And then Darryl comes in here and blows my mind with some of the things he's talking about. But yeah, it was great having you on. Glad we got to do this. Appreciate all you guys hanging out with us today. We're gonna wrap things up. And again, if you need to reach out to Darryl, leadslocator.com. That's where you're going to go. It's nice and easy, clean website. You schedule a consultation with them right there. Phone numbers right there, everything. And here's a little secret. I bet if you go to his website, and even if you don't fill out the form, he's going to be reaching out to you.
Yes. Thanks. That's how it works.
That's how it works. So, all right, guys, thanks for hanging out with us today. And if you have any questions, reach out to Darryl at leadslocator.com. If you need Profit Lifter and you need automation, reach out to us at profitlifter.com. And hope you guys have an amazing weekend, and we will see you next time.